Hello again, and welcome to Forum for a Better Understanding. You know, we've been doing this program for like 5 years, and it's, believe it or not, the first time that we've ever been even able to do the program we're doing today. Because only every 10 years do you go through the agony of a census. And I say that not because it's an agony, but because it's something we want to really do well, and there's a way to get into it gracefully, and that's what this program is all about. We have 3 people who in different areas are going to be sharing why they personally find it important and what they're doing to help us as a community to become committed to making this census count. We have this feeling in our country that every person counts, but you wonder if that's true. You really wonder if each person in our country is really and truly valued as equally as another person. It may be racial, it may be ethnic, it could be any number of reasons that people feel discounted. And I really want this program to be one effort on our station to make everyone who watches it to become aware of how they can make themselves counted and remind other people who might not be aware of the need to do whatever it is that the national government is asking us to do, the U.S. Census Bureau. On that note, we have 3, as I said, distinguished guests who have never graced our presence here on this station. They've not been here before, so they're rookies, so you're going to have to excuse them.
Bear with
Our
us.
first guest is Richard Flores, who does come to us direct from the U.S. Census Bureau. We're really glad he works for Fresno County on this project for 2 years, making the census work for us in the county. To his side is Elizabeth Jonasson, the Community Outreach Coordinator for the City of Fresno, and the one who helped bring this panel together. And across from me is the very distinguished Blong Xiong, Fresno City Council, District 1. We're really glad that Blong is here to represent another one of those persons who are on the committee that is making this a reality for us in the county. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you.
Could you begin, Richard, by just telling us something from your point of view, what it is you basically do regarding the census, and why it's important that you be on our panel today to tell our viewing audience?
Okay, well, my job as a partnership specialist, I go out to the community everywhere in Fresno County to promote Census 2010. The reason I'm doing it this year, I was able to do it in Census 2000. And when I saw where the money goes and what it's used for and how important it is, I felt it was important to do it again this time around.
Interesting that you did it in 2000 and you decided to still do it again.
Yes, it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy getting out to meet the people. I feel sometimes like Santa Claus because I get promotional items that I get to give out to everybody I meet. So some people get some people don't. But yeah, I do my best to get everybody.
Naughty or nice.
That's right. I feel like Santa. That's right.
It's the same thing. We'll come back to the idea of you having an experience of 10 years ago, which is going to be very, I think, illustrative of what the effort would be. It's a totally new administration. It's a totally new moment in history. I mean, this is 2000 to 2010. It's a major decade. Hopefully, it's going to be a much better decade than the other decade. Elizabeth, your connection as Community Outreach Coordinator, what does that mean, and where does it impinge on the census?
Well, the City of Fresno, recognizing the importance of the census, has decided to partner with the Census Bureau and formed a complete count committee. So in my responsibilities is to lead that complete count committee with community members and the council, of course, to make sure that we are guiding the census efforts in the right way for our community. Everybody in the city knows better in each city how to guide the efforts for the Census Bureau in their city, so it's a natural partnership to partner and make sure that we're reaching everybody in the best way.
Great. Now, how long have you been involved in this project regarding the census?
Well, the Complete Count Committee started about 7 months ago, so I've been about 7 months on this.
And you've been involved since a year and a half. Yeah, a year and a half already.
Absolutely.
Blong, tell us about, not only to your constituents in the wonderful District 1, but tell us just briefly the impact you know you are meaning to have in our city council, and then how this census will be one more thing that you committed to on this complete count committee.
Well, I think this is an extremely important social responsibility on the council side. I think our residents, our constituents expect our elected officials to participate when the impact is this large to our community. I mean, we need to, whether in whatever capacity, to encourage our residents to participate. And we're going to delve into some of the direct details as to what those are. But when you look at what we do as a city government, the type of services that we want for our residents, the type of services that we should be getting, this census does that. And this number, understand, it goes for 10 years. And so this is the number that they will be using for 10 years. And I remember the 2000 census, especially at the grassroots level when you're working with CBOs before I was in the policy decision. So that's really the thing that we want to make sure that we do a great job at getting those numbers as high as we can, and to make sure that they're accurate, to make sure that everyone is counted.
Great. We have about theoretically 11 questions. I may not number them, but they do have a point rating, and I'll later on decide on the panel how many points they get for each question. First question, I'll throw it to Richard first and see if he can handle it.
Thank you.
The Constitution, that would be the United States Constitution.
Thank you for that.
Requires that the census count everyone. Why?
Our founding fathers felt it important to have fair representation. And the only way to do that was to find out how many people they were. So in 1790, when they sent the people out first, they counted everybody. They made it a mandate that one representative for every 30,000 people. So when you know how many people there are, that's how many representatives you get. So our form of government is hinged upon knowing exactly how many people we have within our United States.
Now, I don't want to make you the burden of answering this because Blong and Elizabeth might have to bear some responsibility equally.
Thanks.
When the Constitution did this, it didn't even count everybody because we had a whole way of understanding people that was off from the start. So just so we put that on the table, right?
Well, what they did when they first went out, they counted everybody, and they counted everybody as with regards to
white.
age. They also counted who was Indian, who paid taxes. They also counted those who were slaves. So the race question has been on there since 1790.
Exactly. And that's very important that we appreciate, though it's an effort to do something right, it's had its moments. And especially when you would have a 3/5 proportion,
Right.
awful. We just did a program a couple of weeks ago on the Japanese American internment. Awful history. So we have to hope that efforts like the census put us on the right track of having all people equally counted, and that we don't let things be unrepresented because for some reason we do not reach them.
That's exactly what we're trying to do.
That's what we're doing. And it takes, you've been at this now, this recommitment of yours started already in January a year ago.
Correct.
So this is a major effort of the country. It's not minor. It's actually very important.
Oh, yes.
Second question, I'll see if Blong gets this one.
Well, thank you.
Ultimately, the success of the census is going to depend on everyone because it's in our hands. In what way, Blong, is this more than other things? We can control it.
Well, at the end of the day, the information or the packet is going to come to the residents. It is in their hand. But I think the bigger part, or equally important part, is really in the partnerships that play an integral part of making sure that we get the message out. Because there's still a segment of the population that has fears, that has concerns when we talk about government, when the big brother watching us, or the experience of a segment that has come from a different country. So we got to make sure that they understand, and those partnerships, because of my own personal experience as a community organizer from my past life.
Are you going to become president also?
Well, President Obama has definitely put the path out there. Community organizer has gotten a much better name than before. Let's just put it that way.
Jesus was a community organizer.
Well, I'm glad. Then maybe he was the first one. But I think in making sure that the grassroots, that the people that do reach the population at their doors, at their homes, that they feel comfortable entrusting the message. And that's why those partnerships are so important, because when it comes to them relaying the message, it is in their hands, but also when we leave, when those partnership leaves, it is in the parents' hand. It is in those that are answering the question. And sometimes it's not necessarily the parents. It is the children that will read it, will hopefully understand. Right. So message has to be across the board, and what it means to not only them, to the residents, what it means to our community, what it means to our city, and what it means to our country.
Now, one thing that you mentioned with parents and children brings up the question to Elizabeth and then everyone else who would like to also jump in. Language assistance programs. Mm-hmm. It would seem that one of the major hurdles has to be the linguistics of making sure these papers are understood. Elizabeth.
Of course, and that touches upon a bit of what Richard was saying and what Blong was saying, is that if we really want to reach everyone and make sure that everyone is counted, we have to provide assistance in different languages, and that's precisely what is being done. The questionnaire assistance centers where people can go and ask questions from the questionnaire, and they can get a questionnaire that's in a different language to put side by side and answer the questionnaire that way. They can get phone assistance in 6 languages, I believe.
Correct.
6 languages. And also, for the first time, and correct me if I'm wrong, census questionnaires will be mailed bilingual, Spanish, English, to census tracts with over 40% Hispanic households in it.
Great.
So there is a strong effort there to make sure that the linguistical divide is bridged.
Right.
They're telling me,
No, if I can, like I said, we're making every effort to reach those who don't just speak English. We're advertising in more than 20 languages. We have our questionnaire assistance centers will have 59 languages available, from everything from Albanian to Yiddish.
Good.
So if you don't speak English and you're in this country, you should be able to fill out your questionnaire.
But it won't be in Latin, right?
That one, no, it will not be.
Just to check, because I teach Latin, but I don't think that'll help.
I don't remember seeing that on the checklist.
It won't help for the election. Okay, we have to take a break. They actually told us stop right now. But we'll be back in 1 minute, and we're actually going to do a lot more work in the second half. So please stay tuned, and you're going to learn more about the importance of the U.S. Census 2010.
KNXT thanks all its loyal viewers and respected businesses who have supported your Catholic television station. Now you can support KNXT with program underwriting by having your name, your company's name, or organization associated with your favorite program. Detailed information about you or your company will appear before and after each program or day part you select. Keep the quality and spiritual message alive and make a difference. Call 559-488-7440 today or go online at knxt.tv to find out more about program underwriting on KNXT.
Welcome back to the second half of our program about the census that we are involved in as we speak, and the forms will be arriving to you very promptly. We have 8 points to do. We only did 3, so I'm going to have to talk very, very fast, so please put on your listening ears. Number 4 goes to Richard. How many households in this great country of ours are going to need to be involved in this?
Well, actually, every household will be involved, but they did put a number of 134 million that they will be sending these questionnaires out to.
And that basically means to address every situation where we think there's a domicile.
That's it, where apartment, housing, any kind of unit to where people are known to stay.
Next thing, and this goes to Blong, is when you get the form, it says, fill it out and put it back. How quickly, how easily is this going to happen, Blong?
10 simple questions, different than the last time that it was out, which intimidated a lot of people. It's going to be simple. I think the questions are phrased in a way that hopefully will make it easier for those that are receiving it. And then the type of outreach that is out there to encourage for them to participate, and just making sure that they feel comfortable.
The next one is very, very important because it comes to the nitty-gritty. The residence rule, the special populations. Elizabeth, what is this all about? What are these special populations and residence rule? What's that?
Well, there are different populations that won't be counted as you and I at our household with a questionnaire. For example, people who are in the prison system, military members, college students that are residents on campus, homeless people.
How will that be done?
That would be done, for example, the homeless people. There is a point-in-time type survey where census personnel will go out to all the known places where homeless people congregate or are known to sleep, and go and see who they are, how many there are at one determined point in time.
You know, that is so important because just a few weeks ago from when this program is airing now, a forum we had at the Newman Center all about the homeless, and to become aware that there are many more people than we would like to admit are homeless.
Yes.
Definitely.
So this is great. So they're being considered for this.
Everyone is being considered.
Yeah,
in
they're
the census.
from the 29th, 30th, and 31st of March. We called what are called service-based enumerators go out to where people have identified non-sheltered locations, as they call them, and they go out and count them. We want to count everybody once, only once.
That's another
and in
thing.
the right place.
Yeah.
So that's why we want to make sure we do it one time to make sure that we're not going to count them again in a week or so. So
That's right.
3 days.
Blong, this is a trick question because it's not on the list.
Let's see what I can do.
Speaking from the city council point of view here, where would be some areas, ballpark ideas, where you know there are definitely areas in town that will be doing this?
I mean, we all know in the downtown area, by the Paparello House and G Street and so forth. But understand, I mean, that's where people assume there are a lot of them are. But we have issues across the board and across the districts. And there's been pockets in different districts. You know, whether it's up in Ashland, that corridor where the canals are, up even in North. And we've seen people that do the median all the way up to Fashion Fair and River Park. Right. So we have to be conscious of that because at the end of the day, we are providing services to everyone. Yeah. So we have to make sure that all of them account because it impacts the type of services we get and the type of financial support that we get.
Can you follow that up, and all of you can jump in, the difference in the number, without inflating it artificially, but getting it to be real, how different concretely will it be for budgets?
Well,
Throw the cost in there, Elizabeth,
Yeah,
please.
that's a council question.
It's about 1,400, are we saying now, per person. And Fresno, approximately from the last census, Social Compact did a report and estimated around 50,000 individuals that were missing in the city of Fresno.
Oh my.
So multiply that by 1,400 per year.
Oh,
For 10 years.
For 10 years.
Remember that. This number is good for 10 years. And that's what we lost out in the last census.
this is very important then. If anyone is watching who is not sure that they are really meaning to fill this out carefully and to get fully registered, everyone that you know is impacted in your household, please, it's worth so much money for our county, which is obviously needing every benefit we can get. Now, one thing people are going to always have, and this is a fine question, even if it's prickly, confidentiality. Yes. So you said there's only 10 questions, so that's a help. Richard, how confidential is this survey?
Well, the Census Bureau takes pride in the fact that there hasn't been a documented breach of any information from the Census Bureau since its inception. We hold everything for 72 years. We as census employees are sworn to secrecy. We face jail time and fines of $250,000 if we divulge any information that we get across in regards to the census form. So we take it very seriously, and we're very proud of that fact.
Any further?
Again, it goes and impacts our segment of a population, especially here in the valley, that we have a little bit larger than most places that have that fear. And we need to get that message out that this is, yes, it is part of the government, it is, but it does not intrude into some of the privacy, and they should not fear it, because at the end of the day, they benefit, the community benefits, we as a city benefit, and we need them to trust the people that are doing the work, and we need them to trust when they get that information that they answer, and if they don't, or if they are not able to, they need to call the people that can help them.
This is, please, Elizabeth.
Also, I just wanted to state that the census questionnaire will not ask a social security number or bank account information or even immigration status.
That was mine. So it helps the undocumented to appreciate the fact that they are, on this one, they want your name and 9 other things, yes, but that's about it.
Yes.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Now, there's an interesting thing. We have the mayor, our wonderful mayor, Mayor Ashley Swearingen, who's going to give us a little insight right now from her point of view as to the importance and how simple it can be to do this census. Let's see what the mayor on her little clip is sharing with us now.
Hi, I'm Ashley Swearingen. On behalf of the City of Fresno, I urge you to be counted in the 2010 census. Your participation is vital to ensure that our community will get its fair share of federal dollars. Money for schools, hospitals, roads, and programs to help people in times of need. And remember, taking part in the census is safe. Your answers are completely confidential. So be counted in the 2010 census. To learn more, visit 2010census.gov.
Thank you, Mayor. And it's important that something is as clear as that, and we will be airing it on our station, but today we knew we wanted to insert it into the program. Regarding partnerships, which is a very, very important part of this, Blong, how would you like to address the reality of the partnerships involved in the census?
Well, with that, I did say I was going to turn this over to my colleague over here, Elizabeth, and then once she's done, I'll go ahead and add what I would think would be important as well. Elizabeth?
Definitely. Well, as I said in the beginning, the city partnered with the Census Bureau to establish the Complete Count Committee, and we have wonderful people on our Complete Count Committee from the community, and they, in several subcommittees, have partnered with a whole bunch of people in our community to get the census word out, and we're working really hard. Without partners, without people to help us, and I'm sure Richard will say the exact same thing, there would be no way we could reach even half the people that we're trying to reach.
That's exactly right. Yeah, with such a large task at hand to try to reach everybody in every community, we have to go to the trusted partners, to go to the city leaders, to help us funnel this information down to their constituents. Absolutely.
And that's where we as elected officials play an important role, that we have to take that leadership as well, to say, to tell the people we believe in it, and that's why you see the mayor on board. That's why you see the city council made a commitment to put funding for this, to have 3 of our council members to sit on this committee, to encourage our community partners to participate. And I think it's important to see leadership at the table, to see leadership make commitment, and to see leadership say and tell with their words and action that this is important for us.
Now, one thing about this questionnaire, it has changed. It's evidently streamlined. It went like on a diet or something, and it's healthier and it's thinner. It's only 10 questions. Right. Now, what is the impact? And I think I'll give this to Elizabeth for 10 points. What's the impact going to be, possibly, Elizabeth, at the change that this survey is?
We hope that gets people to fill it out and mail it back in a concise, timely manner. When people were receiving the long-form questionnaires, it's a bit intimidating, it's a bit confusing. So now with the streamlined, easy to fill out 10 questions, we hope people will just feel confident that they can fill it out and mail it back. So that's the goal. We hope that in these tough economic times, it also makes it easier for someone with a busy schedule to just fill it out and send it back.
Trick question to Richard, because it's not on our notes.
Is this for 10 points?
You worked on the 2000 census. Did you even have the sense as you were doing that one burden you were facing is the papaleo that there was, the whole idea of all that paper, and the fact it was complicated? Did you find it that way, and that you're just exultant that you've got a trimmed down thing that's much more manageable?
Right. I remember 10 years ago, we would work different events throughout the community, throughout the county, and people would come at me with this long questionnaire, and they really didn't. Why do you need to know how far I drive? Why do you need to know how much I make? Well, now with this streamlined version, we're able to say, this is all we need every 10 years. There's another survey that'll come out later, but right now we just want to count you. We'll just count you right now. Okay. So yeah, there were people who were upset 10 years ago, I remember.
I can imagine. The less intrusive, the better. You get, as they say, a better return. The American Community Survey, I'm not sure what that means, but I think it's supposed to be that Richard is going to address this.
Yes. That's it. That is the long form, which had all the socioeconomic data. They're taking all of that off of the decennial census, the 10-year one. Every month of every year, there is a census going out. They take a poll of 6,000 households for every region, and this is how you get your data of how many, all the socioeconomic, the demographics, all the different information that's not on the 10-year census. So that's what the American Community Survey is.
If you want to be in touch, and I'm sure you will, with Richard, who is our U.S. Census Bureau colleague today, you can see the information that is coming up that's going to be how to reach him. He has a phone number, and he's very available at that cell number. And also, you can reach him on his email address, richard.a.flores@census.gov. And you could be definitely in touch over this that we talked about, and I suppose anything else pertinent to the census.
Absolutely.
And you're looking forward to calls.
I'm looking forward to helping anybody help fill it out. It's easy, it's safe, it's important, and everyone counts.
I would say operators are standing by waiting, but
I'll
Richard's,
turn my phone on right now.
Richard's here and he has his cell off. How about, Blong, one important thing is the undercount improvement that we're hoping for, or that already happened between 90 and 2000. I suppose they made some incremental improvement. How would you measure the improvement?
I try to look at from a balanced perspective in this way. In the 2000, even though we had our challenges, and I was a community organizer then in advocating the change in the form and so forth, but you have to understand there was a lot more money that was available to push the 2000. 2010, we are in a totally different economic dynamics. And the challenge for me now as a policymaker is that we expect a higher return with less money. It's a little bit tough.
Yeah.
Now, I think the effort that we're getting is equal or better than what we put in 2000. But you have to understand, population has grown as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Dynamics has impact in how we do things, and resources has dwindled. And so we're hoping that with less money that we put into this effort, we're going to get more results. I'm always positive on that.
Thank you very much. See you next week with another program. God bless.